What's going on, everybody? Eric Luvano here. And if you're watching this video, you are somewhat interested in starting an ATM business. This video is going to actually go over the most common questions that we get asked for people that are looking to get involved in the business or just want more information overall on the business model. So number one, what is the ATM business? Really quick, you place ATMs in a local business. You own the machine itself. Anytime anybody uses your ATM, you charge them a surcharge fee. That is your profit that you take home. You can place as many ATMs as you want. Second question is, how much does it actually cost to start an ATM business? So we tell people it costs anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000, at least to get your first ATM up and running. We say you want to have at least $5,000 available in funds to get your first one up and running. The machine's going to cost you anywhere between $2,500 to $2,700 plus shipping and handling and taxes like that. And then you want to have at least $2,000 in liquid capital to load your machine with. Obviously, you want to have a machine that has money inside it for people to use it. So it's going to cost you anywhere between, like I said, $5,000 to $10,000, depending on how many machines you want to get up and running. But at least $5,000 to get your first one up and running. Do you need a business license or any permits to become an independent ATM operator? No, you do not. The only requirement is you do need an LLC, right? You need to open up an LLC, and the reason why is that you need to open up a business bank account when it comes to operating ATMs. That's the only way to do it. Okay. You have to be connected to a financial institution in order to operate your machines and process transactions. How do I make money from an ATM? Kind of just mentioned this earlier, really quick. It's just anytime anybody uses your machine, you get to pick on how much you want to charge people to borrow money from you. Meaning every time somebody dispenses cash from your ATM, they agree to pay a fee, right, in return for getting cash out of the machine, right? The average right now is about $3.50 per transaction. Sometimes you can set a percentage as well. So if people withdraw more money, if you're in a high volume location and people are withdrawing over $200, you can charge people a percentage of whatever they withdraw. So it just depends. But like I said, that's how you make your money. Any money that gets dispensed from your ATM goes back into your account within a 24-hour period. So all the transactions, all the money that gets dispensed from your ATM, that was obviously your money that you put inside the machine. How do you get that back? Electronically, when we set up your ATM, we're going to route those funds back into your account electronically. You go back into the bank, take that money out, put it inside your machine, and you're just repeating that process over and over again. But along with your bulk cash comes along your profit too. So that's how you make money in the ATM business. How do you get locations in the ATM business? So obviously, you have to go out there and speak to business owners. What I love about the business is that once your ATM is placed, you don't have to provide any of the marketing, any of the customers, any of the foot traffic, right? You are depending on that business that already is established, already has clientele to fund your ATM. Does that make sense? So gas stations, bars, nightclubs, convenience stores, event venues, barbershops, right? There's a ton of businesses out there that would benefit from an ATM. You just have to go out there and basically explain the benefits of them having an ATM, okay? Number 6, do I need a contract with the business location? Absolutely. Just like any business, right? You want to have everything on paper. This protects you and protects anybody from coming into that business and offering them a better deal. Obviously, you want to give the business owner a percentage of each transaction. You want to create a partnership, right? You want to incentivize the business to have an ATM there. And the best way to do that is to give them a percentage per transaction, right? And we kind of let you know exactly what that is based on the location and how busy it is. But with that, you do want to have a placement agreement in place that states, hey, this is my ATM. It's placed in this business for a period of time. This is how much I'm going to pay you per transaction. And so what it does, it protects you from another ATM guy going in there, undercutting you, giving them a better deal, or protects you from the business owner saying, hey, I want to put my own ATM in here. Come take yours out. So obviously a placement agreement is highly recommended when it comes to placing ATMs in local business. And sometimes your bank requires placement agreements for every ATM placement that you actually put out there. So highly recommend you get a placement agreement. How do I fill the ATM with cash, right? So obviously when you actually have the ATM installed, delivered, programmed, you're going to have to learn how to load it with cash. It's very simple, probably takes less than, I would say, a minute when you know what you're doing. But simply you're just putting cash into what's called a cassette box. And that's what basically it's going to feed the machine the money. So very simple process on how to refill your machine. There's a ton of YouTube videos to see exactly how to do that. what does a processing company do and why do you need one? So your processor is basically, think of it as your middleman between you and your customer. Your processor is in charge of providing the software, your ATM back office that helps you manage your machines. They help with compliance and reporting. They deposit all your bulk cash back into your account, all your profits back into your account. They provide 24/7 technical support for you or anybody who uses your machine. So for instance, if somebody uses your machine, their card gets stuck in the machine or their money never got dispensed, your processor usually gives you stickers to put on your ATM where customers can call if there's any problems with their transaction. Okay, so your processor is basically very important, right? When you choose your processor, because that can make or break you. When I got started in the business, I had a really bad processor, could never get a hold of support. And I had to just kind of figure everything out on my own. Do I need a bank to be part of a processor? Yes, you do need a bank. Like I mentioned earlier, you need a business bank account, ATM business bank account to operate machines. And this is probably the most challenging thing of this business because actually banks do not really like ATM businesses. For the most part, most banks do not accept ATM business bank accounts. So if you go into, the major banks, Wells Fargo, Chase, there's a lot of banks out there that don't really accept these types of businesses. They're considered high risk businesses. And if you think about it, banks don't like you because you're basically competition, right? Instead of, people using their ATMs, people are using your ATMs, right? Banks really don't like ATM business bank accounts because they don't make money off your account. Why is that? Because you're always taking money out of the bank, right? And just recycling your cash, and you're not really keeping money in the bank. So banks don't really like ATM businesses, and that's why they don't accept those. So there is certain banks that we work with, preferred bankers, that we can get you open within 24 hours, but you definitely need a bank to operate machines. Are there risks involved in the ATM business? Just like any business, right? There is risk involved, okay? I hate people always saying, hey, the ATM business is really risky. If you open up any business, there's always risks involved. But here are the common risks that with the ATM business, and I say common, but it happens rarely, okay? Theft or vandalism. Obviously, somebody can, go in and break into your ATM. You've probably seen YouTube videos. Low transaction volume, you probably get into a location that's not as busy, right? But obviously, we teach you guys how to find the high volume location and how to qualify businesses. So that's pretty taken care of. And then maintenance costs. This is not really a big thing. I've had machines that I had placed for almost 8 years and no maintenance problems at all. Okay. And the cool thing about this is that if there's any problems with your ATMs, your processor or whoever your vendor is that you actually purchase the machines from have warranty on these machines. So the only risk in the business is, I would say, break-ins, right? And they do happen, right? People break into businesses all the time. But the reality is that when you are talking to business owners, right, this is something that you look at, right? You go to the location, right? You talk to the business owner in person, right? You see how much security they have. You see if they have bars on their windows, right? You ask the business, have you ever had a break? I mean, there's questions that you can ask to lower the amount of risk, right? When it comes to deciding whether you want to place an ATM or not. Obviously, all your ATMs are bolted down with anchor bolts into the ground. I would never recommend just placing an ATM and never bolting it down. How long until I start seeing a profit? Well, the cool thing about the ATM business, you can see a profit your first day placing the machine. This is going to really depend on the type of location, right, that you place the ATM at. Another thing, like I mentioned before, is the big thing in this business is location, 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 right? What you want to determine is how much foot traffic, right? How much clients, customers are coming into this location. What's the cash incentive, right, for people to use the machine, right? You want to do a really good job at qualifying the business owners before actually making the investment and placing the ATM, okay? So how much can you expect to make from an ATM? The average, I would say, like, to be considered a great location, a location that I like, a number that I like to look for is you want to have at least 5 transactions a day going on with your ATM. If you do the math, at 5 transactions a day, and you're charging, let's just say $3, right? For 30 days in a month span, your ATM's going to make around $450. Okay. That's considered to me a great location. The average of what our clients are usually getting, their ATMs are making anywhere between $500 to $1,200 a month. And the reason why is just because we target specific types of businesses and we do a really, really good job at qualifying businesses before we actually go out there and make the investment and purchase the machine. So you're never really going to know, right, how well the machine's going to do until you actually place it. But we have parameters in place that help us determine, right, take a calculated risk on, yes, we will actually go out there and place the machine based off the questions that we ask the business owners. Okay. Do I need special insurance? Insurance isn't required, right? I actually do not have any insurance on my machines. I don't recommend anybody getting insurance on your machines because, like I said, it's all going to come down to like when you place the machine, before you place the machine, you want to qualify the business, right? These are questions you want to ask as far as like how many break-ins, have you ever had a break-in at all? Have you ever had an ATM before? I mean, there's a lot of questions you can ask them to, like I said, lower your risk, right? And if it sounds like it's too risky, then we don't place the machine. That is what it is. But you can get insurance just like any business, right? You can get business insurance. I would just reach out to your whatever insurance company you have for your auto or home, right? I'm sure they have a business insurance quote that they can give you for the ATM business. But when you're first getting started, it's just, you're gonna have a lot of operating expenses, and I wouldn't recommend it when you first get started. Okay. Can I run this business part-time? Yes, you can run this business part-time. We tell people all the time that you can build this business on the side of having a full-time job. The reason why is because the machine is doing 98% of the work. Why I love the ATM business so much is because it buys your time back. Every machine that you place, think of buying your time back little by little by little. You don't have to be there to make sure people use the machine. Like I said, the business that you place it in is going to provide the clientele already, okay? The customers for you. The machine's going to walk people through how to use it, right? The only thing that you're going to have to do as far as maintenance is load the machine up. But the cool part about it is that your ATM back office makes it very easy for you to manage your machines, right? It tells you exactly how much money is inside your machine. It breaks down an average of how much is dispensing and how much making a day. So you can kind of do the math of like, hey, if I want to, refill this machine once, twice a week, this is how much money I need to put inside of it. It's really low maintenance as far as the ATM business. So yes, absolutely, you can have a part-time job, full-time job, a family, right? You can build this business literally as a side hustle, as a part-time side hustle, and make a full-time income. Okay. What software or tools do I need? You don't need any software tools at all. Your processor provides that. The ATM already comes programmed right with that. Your processor is basically going to take care of a lot of the heavy lifting. That's why it's very important to, find a really good processor from the beginning. Okay, because they're going to help you a lot, especially when it comes to how to diagnose, any error codes, right? Technical issues and things like that. So last question, if you want to get started in the ATM business, what is the fastest way to success? The fastest way to succeed in this business is to partner and lock arms with somebody who already has a successful ATM business, not just a successful ATM business, but has helped many individuals start and scale their very own. So what does that mean? Guys, we're here to help, right? If you guys want to start a successful ATM business and you want us to basically streamline the entire process for you, take all the guesswork out of everything when it comes to finding your ATM vendor, finding your processor, right? Learning the back office, learning how to manage machines, learning how to load them, program them, install them, learning how to get the ATMs delivered to you. We have that for you, okay? Learning how to market, learning how to negotiate with business owners, placement agreements, scripts, right? Everything that you basically need to succeed in the business is in the ATM Accelerator program. And thing about this, guys, is that why we call it the ATM Accelerator program is to accelerate your learning curve, accelerate your results in this business. Our goal for each and every single one of our students is to help you land a successful, profitable ATM location in your first 30 days of working with that. So if you want to work and you want to basically work fast in this business and get the results and get to start making money right away, the fastest way to do so is to book a call with my team members. No sales pitch. We're really just going to walk you through exactly what we cover, what we help you through, and obviously see if you're a right fit to work with us. So with that being said, guys, hopefully this answered a ton of your questions, and I hope that we open up your mind a little bit to the ATM business model. And one last thing, guys, if you do end up booking your call, one thing that we will do on the call is we're going to show you profits, real profits in real time, and what you can expect to make with an ATM while we're on the call. So super cool. Nobody really else is doing that in the industry. So hopefully I see you guys on the inside. Take care and have a great day.